So excited to be joined by my sweet friend, Paige Filliater. Paige, it is such an honor to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yay. So just a little bit about Paige. You guys know how magical she is. She is a digital marketer using savvy and seductive sales strategies, which I love. She became a mompreneur in October 2015 and has done incredibly well in her business and her life. She lovingly nudges her clients to talk openly and honestly about reverent brand, bold personality, loyal tribe, and fierce dedication to her client's success. When she's not in her studio, you can find her live almost every day in her private Facebook group, Baby Got Brand. Welcome, Paige.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay. So Paige, normally the way we start off our shows is just to simply ask, what is the thing that lights you up? What makes your soul sparkle? And what can you share with our listeners?
I think it's the idea that you can go from, what society would deem as nothing to living a life of your, like that you could barely even imagine a few years ago, and living that life in that moment. And so for me, what really lights me up is the fact that that's so possible, but that I can help other women get to that point, and that I can see the vision for them. So often I can see the potential in people and what they could be doing with their life, like energetically, what that looks like. And then also being, gifted to have the ability to strategize and get them there. That's what lights me up, is just doing that and doing that every single day. You didn't have to pay me to do that.
I love it. I love that. And I think it's so, that is such a lovely gift, the ability to see what's possible for someone else, especially as women. I know most of the work you do is with women. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Mostly.
So being able to kind of cast that vision and share what's possible for another sister is incredibly powerful. And so many times we're not able to see our own brilliance or our own possibility. And so to have someone to come along and be able to share that in a loving way is so powerful. So that's wonderful.
Thank you.
I love what you said about just the possibility of creating a life you absolutely love. That's really the essence of what Soul Sparkle is, and creating a magical life, the whole concept is about. It's that no matter where you are, there's the possibility of creating something even more magical and amazing than you ever thought possible.
There's just not a dream that I have that I don't believe I could, if I can dream it. It's so cliche, but cliches are there for a reason.
Right.
You can do it. Like, I think the other day I was watching the Tonys, and I thought to myself, well, if I really wanted a Tony, you know what I mean? Like, I could work really, really hard and do everything I had to do, and I could make it happen. Like, there's not anything that I don't think that I can do. Now, do I need to do everything? No, but there's just not everything. There's just nothing that I don't believe I can't do. And I've always had that piece of me. I've always had that in me. And that's what got me to this point, I believe, just that knowing. But now I truly, consciously believe it. I think subconsciously that was always how I felt. I feel that for everybody else too.
Yeah, there. Obviously you've been doing this business now for a while. Was there kind of because I know for 2 years ago, I was sitting in a dark apartment outside of Philly, crying every day, miserable because I had made this move that wasn't in alignment for me, and it didn't fit, and I was not in my happy place. And it took about, 12 months time to completely shift everything into this life that I have the opportunity to experience now. Was it a similar experience for you? Like, was there a period of time where you weren't in a good place, and then over a period of time you were able to create more?
Yeah, so I was a waitress for 7 years, just kind of living and enjoying life. It gave me enough money to pay my bills and enough money to go out and party and do what lit me up, which was be around people and go out and have a good time and live life. And then I was listening to Katy Perry's Firework in a car, and I was like, that's me. I have so much more potential. What is this life? where am I going? And, you know, my parents stopped going to conferences when I was growing up because the teachers were always like, she has so much potential. You just get tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. So they stopped going. But the truth is, I did have a lot of gifts, and I did have a lot of personality and energy, and I was just kind of dwindling. It was just kind of dwindling away as life happened. And I heard the song and I was like, that's me. So I thought, what am I good at? And I'm analytical, I'm passionate, I'm animated, and I enjoy learning. So I thought paralegal, maybe eventually a lawyer. So I became a paralegal, and I thought that was it. And then I realized very quickly that I didn't like that either. And I was like, so what do I enjoy doing? What am I good at? And what can I do for right now in this moment to kind of get me out of the abyss of what this is, like this, you know, negativity. Nobody goes to a lawyer's office because they want to be there. So think of that energy all day, every day, just like the energy of not wanting to be somewhere. And it was just draining. So I started blogging. So I started beauty blogging about my life, blogging about my favorite makeup, blogging about my hair, blogging about world issues. And it made me happy. And I found, you know, a platform and a place where people liked me for me. I wrote exactly how I spoke. And so what happened was I started to gain a lot of notoriety, and people wanted to reach out to me to put their business on the blog. They asked me about social media, and I thought, hey, well, this is a great opportunity to start a business. So I became a social media manager. Hated it, because now that I know about what I know about myself is I don't like to do the same thing every single day. I don't like systems. I don't like structure. Social media management is the exact same thing every single day. So what happened was I did it, but it led me to paid traffic, which is Facebook ads. And then that led me to just realizing what it can create, the momentum it can create in your life, the impact it can create in other people's lives. So being able to reach that many other people, how you can take like a good business, you know, something that's working, it's somebody's happy, and just blow it up and get it in front of all the people that need it. It led me to sales funnels, the process of turning a stranger into a paying client and somebody that's life you can change, so more impact. So the blog led me here to what I do now, which is consulting, business consultant, because I have run a successful business offline before I brought it online. So I do consult business wise, but I really love consulting as far as sales funnels go, and just learning how to take what you already have and leverage it in a way that creates the life that you really want. And whatever that looks like for you, and taking your gifts and making sure that you're only focusing on the brilliance and the light and the things that you're great at in this world, and let the systems and the sales funnels and the ads work for you.
On exactly what you are, I let other people that are good at other things. That's the happiest, or the processes that you put into place to work for you. That's lovely.
Yeah. Especially for creatives, we need that. We really do. We think we don't. We like are like, no, but it actually creates a space.
Yeah, right. Well, then I kind of call that, at least for me, when I'm doing that work, that's when I'm most in the flow, and that's when I'm most creative, and that's when even the best ideas and new things come when I'm focused on that part versus like the muck and the that I'm not very good at either. So I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that approach. And so you create opportunities for clients to be more visible and get their work out in the world, whatever it may be, whatever that variation of their work is, and create the opportunity for them to also just enjoy what they're doing by utilizing the process.
Focus on what makes them special and what they do, and their healing, because typically they're transformational coaches. So they're healing, they're mindset coaches, they're energy workers, and that is such important work, and it's life-changing work. And too often they're focused on the marketing side of things, and that's important. That's what, brings the leads in, and that's how you create impact. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's your zone of genius. You need somebody to tell you what to do and what's right, what's not right, or what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Yeah, I love it. And I love how you have been brave enough to try new things
Mm-hmm.
and to just keep iterating yourself to find the next thing and the next thing. Because I don't know about you, but I feel like little journey and work, I keep changing as well. So the expression of that comes out in a different way every now and then, right? So it's like either a new program or it's a new focus or just a new
Mm-hmm.
conversation around a piece of work that I'm already doing. So I love that you've created a life where you can continue to grow, evolve, and change, and your business can evolve and grow along with you.
It's because I've created a brand and a life around who I am at my core. And so those that come into the world and to my orbit know that, you know, if this isn't in alignment with me anymore, it's going to change. Like I just did a live about how I did a Facebook ads course and it didn't feel in alignment. It was way out of alignment. It didn't involve energy work. It is something I'll have to go back and readjust because everything's always changing. And I'm like, how can I serve in the way that I love to serve, which is group coaching and one-on-one? How can I serve in a way that is efficient because things are always changing? And so I decided to do every quarter, do a live workshop for 20 people. And that's my answer. And it's not what anybody else is doing because maybe it's not for everybody else, but it's for me. And my tribe, my community knows that I'm only going to do what's best for them and what's best for me. And if that changes tomorrow, then it changes tomorrow. But I always have their best interest at heart. And that's what's most important. That's what your audience and your clients need to know, is that you're not going to give them more than what they need. You're not going to try and sell them more than what they're going to need, but you're not going to try and sell them less of what they need. And you're not going to do things that are not in their best interest.
I love that. And it's a trust factor, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like you have a really beautiful, loyal brand and following.
Love them.
I totally agree with the idea that not necessarily doing things the way everyone else does things, because I'm much the same way. Like I'm going to do it because it feels good to me. If it feels light, easy, and expansive, then that's the path I'm going to go. If I have to follow this X, Y, and Z protocol or method just because everyone else is doing it, that doesn't necessarily work for me as well. So I love that you're true to yourself and you honor your authentic expression, whatever that may be. And as it changes, you evolve and change too.
And my clients are that way. So I have to be if they're creative, they're healers, they're all those things. So they're not necessarily, the goal never changes, right? You want to create impact in this world. You want to heal. You want to do this thing, but there's maybe 3 different ways that can get you there. And we're going to choose the one that's the most in alignment with you. So there's not always one path, but there is always one outcome and goal.
Right. Yeah. And I love the idea that you also, and the philosophy, and I hope more people will start to adopt it, is just the idea that you want people to be served where they are with whatever they need at that time. I just see this trend of, hey, put this $10,000 program on a credit card or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, that just doesn't feel good to me. Right. And so to me, it's not necessary. And there's also a lot of other ways that people can receive help and assistance in whatever way that feels, again, spacious and available to them, versus feeling like they have to be on a certain path or in a certain program that they may or may not be able to afford. That doesn't feel good either.
I like to have different ways of working with people right where they are. And so if you got on the phone with me, I would have an idea of who you are and kind of where you're at and kind of where I think you might fit into how we can work together and how I can create the best experience and the best transformation for you. But there's not just one or two. I have different ways of kind of coming in. At first, I only had like my high-end stuff, but it still felt out of alignment. Even though I know the transform, it's that particular investment is necessary for that particular transformation that those people were desiring. There were other people that wanted my help and wanted a transformation, but maybe not the same transformation or that big of a transformation. Maybe they just wanted they wanted to go from 3K to 5K. Maybe not like me, wanted to jump from 5K to 15 to 30 to,
Right.
So I needed to create things that were still transformational, and still met them where they were at, but weren't necessarily so high end. There's room and there's space for everything.
Yep. I love that. And it just creates another opportunity for you to serve more people, for all of us to serve more people. You know, I believe that. I think that's lovely. So if you were to provide any tips or advice to someone that was maybe trying to figure out what lights them up and how to proceed through the kind of the process like you did, right? Discovering what you're good at, trying to create something around that could then create a life that they love.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips or advice on what you might share with people if they're just getting, let's say they're waitressing or they're in a job they hate?
So I would say open yourself up to receiving the answer in a different form than you might imagine it to be, because you might think that life is one way or it has to be one way due to a story that you've been told or how you grew up. Just open yourself up to the fact that it might be different, that you may still be able to live the life that you deep down dream of. I think even when you're a waitress, you can't even comprehend the life that you can create for yourself. You just know, like you see on TV, right? So for me, I was like, man, I loved the houses that the Kardashians were living in. I loved that they could get their hair and makeup done whenever they wanted. Really surface, seemingly vain things, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to do my makeup and dress up and have this life and go on vacation and spend this time with my family, whatever that looked like. I had no idea what I needed to do to get there, how it was going to get there. So I'd say start with the dream and the vision of what you would love for your life to look like. And then the action step you can take is, what can you do right now, that feeling when you're looking and dreaming and holding the vision of what you want your life to look like, that feeling, what can you do every day to give you that feeling? Is it writing? For me, it was writing. For other people, it could be, whatever their hobby is. For others, it could be, manifesting it, just closing their eyes and trying to manifest it. But you've got to take the action. I think validating any idea. If you've ever had an idea of starting a business or a product idea or a service idea, say it out loud, tell somebody, ask whoever you think might be willing to use it or need it in their business or their life. Ask them if it's something that they would buy. And if they say no, ask somebody else.
I love it. Keep going till you find someone. Yeah. That's fantastic. I love that. And then I think just the idea of dreaming about it first, because I think so many people, and we talk a lot about this in my Soul Sparkle circle of just this community of women, to share the vision of what you want for your life. Because first of all, getting clear on what it is that you desire you have to begin there, right? Because so I think a lot of us, at least for me, I didn't know what I really wanted. I wasn't really clear, like certain on what I wanted my life to look like. And as soon as I got super, super clear, and then began to call that in and had the support of other women to hold that intention, that vision with me, that's when it all started to unfold. So I love the idea of beginning with that clarity.
I think
and then
too many people start businesses and they don't make it, don't intentionally create it to support that life. You want to be able to travel with your family. You want to have this time freedom, but then you create a business that requires you to be on all the time and to be in a specific place. It's not in alignment. So people are just out of alignment from the jump. Yep. They don't know themselves. To me, it's knowing yourself, who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your zone of genius, and then knowing what you truly want out of life. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to see everything in detail. Just feel it. Like, what do you want life to feel like? Do you want it to feel light and airy and expansive? Some people love the hustle. They love to be going and doing and traveling. So if that's what you think that you want in this moment, then that's what you need to create. And you have the opportunity to do that, but you've got to know what that is first.
Yeah, I love it. And I also love, like you said, making sure it's in alignment with what you desire. Because, if you want the flexibility of traveling and whatever, but then you start a restaurant and you're locked down to a brick and mortar place 24/7, that's not going to be your happy place, So I love the idea. You
have the patience too. You've got we would love to have a brick and mortar, but we don't want to sit and run it. So we got to get to the point where we can just invest and fully invest in it and then hire somebody, the right people to run it. We want to own one. We don't want to run it. So
Exactly.
the first thing first is to create a 7-figure business, the capital to invest in it. You've got to put the first things first, you know?
Mm. Yeah, I love it. So you work with women that are all across the board, wherever, like just getting started all the way through.
Yeah. So there's some, in wherever you are in your journey, there's a way to, you know, learn from me or to have my eyes on your business or to get my input. So if you're just starting and you don't, you know, you're literally just starting, maybe haven't even started a business yet, Baby Got Brand is my Facebook group. And that's the best way to kind of get to know who I am and, you know, how I work and how I can help you. And then, you know, I have one-off courses that teach sales funnels, and then the Facebook ads live. And then it goes all the way up to my one-on-one consulting and the higher packages. And what I love is when women start and Baby Got Brand and they work their way up to the biggest package, because that's like the complete evolution of it's never ending, but our work together.
Yeah, sure. Well, and just I'm sure that's got to be such a, just a exciting, and it's got to light you up to watch them go through that process, right?
Absolutely.
I know for me, women start with my programs too, and I watch them just grow and evolve, and we set these intentions and we create the manifestos, and then things start to happen and they just get so excited, and it's really fun, at least for me, to watch that process as they go through the tools and tips. So I love that. So if there was any last advice or any last tip or idea you want to share with our listeners before we close out for today?
Inspiration. And I think that a lot of women don't trust their instincts, especially when they're not in this world yet necessarily. They're out in the world waitressing. You know that there's more. You know that you're meant for more. You know that you serve a higher purpose in this world. And you can't let anybody or anything get in the way of that. So do something that serves that feeling, and you will find your way there. You will find your way there.
Oh, I love it.
Thank
Sweet
you.
truth. Such truth. Thank you so much for
joining
us today. Yeah, such a pleasure and such an inspiration for all of us that are in whatever various stages of business. And just to know that it's possible, I think that's a beautiful ending for this show today, is to know that whatever that life is that you desire, it is possible and it is available to you. So
it's available to you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We appreciate it. We can't wait to have you on the next episode. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.